Okay, kindly introduce yourself to us.
Yes, my name is Clive Chaze. I'm a sports journalist from Uganda.
Looking at the Nations Cup so far, do you still believe that there's underdog in African football?
Yes, of course, the underdogs do exist. In sport and life in general, we have what we call luck. There will be incidences where you punch above your weight and get into positions where you're supposed to be. The only way you can prove critics wrong like me is being consistent with your kind of performances and staying at that level longer. So today you have so many teams that have gotten themselves in this position, but they are probably not used to being there. So if they can consistently do that, if you can consistently have Cape Verde performing the way they are performing, Mauritania performing the way they are performing, Mozambique, they might not be here, but if you can consistently have them perform the way they are performing, then they can probably get out of the bracket of underdogs. But at the moment, personally, I still look at them as underdogs.
Okay, you still consider them as underdog. And looking at the Nations Cup so far, the quality of games, how will you rate it?
I would say the quality is very high. Sport is entertainment. You want to see good games. You want to see players expressing themselves. You want to see beautiful goals being scored. And I believe this Africa Cup of Nations has given us that. I mean, we are just at the round of 16 going into the quarterfinals, and we already have 100 plus goals. At the last edition 2 years ago in Cameroon, the 100 goals were scored in the 52 games. We still have games to go, and we have reached that mark. But outside that, I mean, we've been treated to so many exciting, beautiful goals all the way from the semi-finals, rather all the way from the first game of the competition. And I'm waiting to see the people who are in charge of awards which goal they will be voting for the goal of the tournament, because we've really seen beautiful goals, but also teams have really been playing quality football. The players are expressing themselves, they are playing with a lot of confidence, they know the whole world is watching, and they are obligated to entertain those who are watching, and they have really treated us to that.
Round of 16, which of the game will you consider the toughest?
Well, the game between DR Congo and Egypt, I think it was a game that was tough for both teams, especially since Egypt had to play long spells of the game with a man less after that red card, for them to be able to see themselves through that, through extra time, then go into penalties. It is unfortunate that they lost, but I thought for me it was a very tough game. Ivory Coast, the host, they came into that game with probably only themselves believing in themselves. They are playing against the defending champions, the best team on the continent, the best team of the group stages, because they had won three games, that's Senegal. So for them to be able to endure all that, go all the one eventually, and knock them out to advance to the next stage, I thought for me those two games, I would say they were the toughest of the round of 16.
Okay, let's look at the quarterfinal. The first one, Nigeria and Angola.
Well, it is going to be an interesting one. Of course, when you look at the 8 teams at the quarterfinals, you probably look at Nigeria, and they are the strongest. They are the most successful team at the AFCON at this stage with 3 titles. All the others have 1 and 2. And you look at them against an Angolan side that, for me, for over a long period of time, they have flattered to deceive. At one point, they were threatening to be one of the superpowers of African football before they went into limbo. It is a team that is probably getting themselves back. But you're looking at a Nigerian side that has improved each passing game, and I believe there will be a better side against Angola than they were against Cameroon.
And let's look at the South Africa, Cape Verde.
Well, Cape Verde is, you will probably say, the surprise team of the tournament when you look at all the teams that are at the semi-finals, rather at the quarterfinals. I mean, for them to be here when countries like Egypt, when countries like Morocco, countries like Tunisia, countries like Cameroon, Algeria are not at this stage, you feel that probably they are one of those teams that have punched above their weight. But we shouldn't forget that they qualified as group winners in the same group that had Egypt, in the same group that had Ghana. They are also taking on a South African side that has been very convincing. I mean, their performance against Morocco is one that was up there. You don't defeat Morocco 2-0, and you say it was a fluke. It was a game that they planned very well, had a strategy, and it worked for them. But for me, I feel it is a game that is going to be very exciting. Of course, South Africa come with that pressure that we want to be African champions. Cape Verde, the pressure might be in, but they also have this at the back of their mind. Let's just go out there and enjoy ourselves. They are probably not under the kind of pressure that South Africa is in, for me, which I feel it will be a very, very good, exciting game.
Mali, Côté.
The hosts need to prove that their performance against Senegal wasn't a fluke rather. But anyway, we expected them to be here. Their only lowest moment was when they lost 4-0 to Equatorial Guinea in their last game of the group stages. But them being here is what we expected from them as the hosts, but also because of the kind of players they have, the quality they have. They fired a coach midway the tournament, but you thought that their performance against Senegal was a performance of a team on a mission, a team that wants to prove critics wrong, a team that wants to be African champions for a third time. They're taking on a Malian side that has never won this competition, but a team that has also been playing at the Africa Cup of Nations and going further in the competition for some good period of time. A West African derby, a neighbor from the north, so I feel it's actually going to be played in Bouake, closer to the border of Mali and Côte d'Ivoire. So you believe the stadium will be divided into sets of fans. It is a game that is going to be filled with a lot of emotions, a lot of attention. At the end of the day, I'll tip the hosts to advance, though I won't be shocked if Mali also win it.
Congo, Congo and
almost 25 years ago, if I had you right.
Yes, DR Congo Guinea, two-time champions, DR Congo, but also a Guinea side that has only made the final once, way back in 1972, losing to Congo, by the way, but the other Congo. But you also feel it is a game that can go either way. DR Congo under Sebastian de Sabri are probably one of the most tactically organized coaches on the African continent. Guinea qualified for this stage, the knockout stages, as one of the third best placed teams. Usually those teams are looked at probably teams that are weak, but they were in the group that had Cameroon and Senegal. But also if you're Congo and you've knocked out Egypt, 7-time champions, and you get yourself at this stage, everyone is looking at you as a threat. Everyone is not taking you for granted. Though you thought that Guinea, also the manner in which they knocked out Equatorial Guinea, it is a result that they fought for. Them getting that winner in the 98th minute was something special for them, and can only rejuvenate or boost and give them confidence going into this tie. But I'll tip Congo to advance. I'm a big fan of Sebastian de Sabri, having coached Uganda at the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt. He's a very good coach who plays organized, exciting football, and I would want to see him go far in the tournament.
Okay, putting you on the spot now, Nigeria and Angola, your prediction?
Nigeria 2-1.
South Africa, Cape Verde?
South Africa 3-1. No, South Africa 3-0.
3-0. Congo, Guinea?
Congo 2-1.
Mali,
Côte d'Ivoire to win on penalties 4-3 after a barren draw.
So any disappointment so far?
The disappointment was the manner in which Ghana was knocked out of this competition. Their last group game, they needed a result to advance. They had the result, leading the game 2-0. For them to eventually draw the game 2-2 and finish bottom of their group, I thought for me that was very disappointing. Well, the result is the result, but the manner in which they conceded those 2 goals, I thought would have been avoidable. The penalty that the captain Andre Ayew gave away, the corner kick that Richard Ofori, the goalkeeper, also gave away, I thought they were both schoolboy mistakes that would have been avoided, and all they needed was a win to advance. Unfortunately, they just gave it away.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.